Me3D. Welcome, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Leah.
So, Matt, tell me about Me3D.
So Me3D is about 6 years old. What we do is we produce 3D printers for education. More and more what we do now is produce the software that runs the 3D printers.
So what are the benefits of 3D printing in education?
It's a way for kids to express themselves in a way that they can't necessarily get by doing it any other way. So we consider this to be just the coolest crayon that you've ever seen, and we want teachers to be able to use that in exactly the same way that they would with crayons, pencils, sticky tape and glue. So looking beyond just using this as a prototyping device, but really looking at it as a way to make functional final use parts.
So can 3D printing be used across all stages and all subject areas?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can use it to explain any of the abstract concepts, whether it is mathematics, whether it's investigating what Shakespeare was experiencing as he was writing his plays, whether it's how big some of the mountains are that your students will never actually get to go and see. You can use that by creating physical objects in the classroom. And they're not just parts that come out of a catalogue, they're parts that the students have been involved in actually creating. So the learning extends before and after the manufacture of the part.
So Me3D had a really interesting response to COVID-19. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we were in a very unique position where as a company we own hundreds of 3D printers. We had a knock on the door late on a Thursday afternoon. It was the Wollongong Hospital. They were progressively running out of some of the protective equipment that they use. So within about 48 hours, we'd developed an initial prototype that had been ticked off by the clinicians. And what we came up with was a really fast to produce face shield that could be worn by the nurses and doctors in those high risk areas, and then be rolled out to more and more people to provide some level of protection that they wouldn't have had in any other way. So we ran that project for about 2.5 weeks, and we produced 3,000 of these face shields to be given out to the nurses and doctors that were directly involved with patients. We were only able to do that because we had the equipment, we had the software, and we were given the space by the University of Wollongong. They were kind enough to say, we're not using this lecture theatre at the moment, and it was absolutely perfect for moving into a production space. It couldn't have gone better. In doing all this stuff, we've actually become a registered medical device manufacturer. If I look back 12 weeks ago, that was not on our radar. Not at all. Not at all. That's not something that we had in our business plans. It's not something that we had in our goals. There we are. We're now. So in 2012, everyone knew that 3D printing was going to change the world, and it's taken 8 years to show exactly what the power is of 3D printing.
Me3D has done an amazing job at fulfilling a need and solving a design issue for that need.
Yeah, I mean, when we look back on it, we think, what else would we have done?
So with all of the Me3D printers that we used during the COVID crisis to create these face shields, what's going to happen to them now?
So they're going to go back through a remanufacturing process where we check them all and make sure that they still pass all of our tests. And then we'd like to pass them on to schools that can really make a use out of this in the same way that we have, and do it in a meaningful way.
I think schools will really appreciate the fact that these were used for a task during the COVID crisis that directly helped our medical staff and health professionals. Yeah,
you're right. I mean, one of the hardest things to break through with kids is to say, how does this thing that we're learning relate to something in the real world? And for them, it's too easy to dismiss things that they learn as something that the Board of Studies has just decided that they have to know. But having a 3D printer that was used in a real world application that changed lives, it's hopefully it's a little beacon that they can use and sort of go forward with.
Well, thanks, Matt, for talking to us today about Me3D printers and how they've been an essential part of helping our health professionals through this COVID crisis, and also how students can benefit from a real-world design problem-solving application.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's nice to see new people.